England has produced some of the most formidable military commanders in world history. Today, we'll explore the 10 greatest English generals who shaped the course of history through strategic genius, tactical brilliance, and sheer force of will. The criteria are strict. Land generals only, no admirals. Direct command responsibility, no ceremonial figureheads, and measurable historical impact. Not popularity, not reputation, but outcomes that changed the world. Some conquered empires, others defeated history's greatest commanders. A few revolutionized warfare itself. This is the definitive ranking. Starting at number 10, we have Thomas Fairfax, the commander-in-chief of the New Model Army. While Cromwell became the political face of the Revolution, Fairfax actually commanded the army that won the English Civil War. At Naseby in 1645, he destroyed the Royalist field army. At Marston Moor in 1644, he fought in one of the largest battles ever on English soil. The British constitutional system, limited monarchy, parliamentary supremacy, begins on Fairfax's battlefields. He's forgotten because he refused to execute the king and withdrew from politics. But professional military historians know the truth. Fairfax won the war. At number 9, we have James Wolfe. 32 years old, one campaign, one battle. In 1759, Wolfe was tasked with capturing Quebec, considered impregnable atop a 174-foot cliff. On the night of September 12th, British forces silently scaled that cliff. By dawn, 4,500 men stood on the Plains of Abraham behind Quebec's defenses. The fighting was brief and decisive. Wolfe was shot 3 times. The third killed him as his forces routed the French. Wolfe reportedly said, "Now, God be praised, I will die in peace." Quebec fell. French power in North America collapsed. The English-speaking dominance of an entire hemisphere flows from that morning at Quebec. Wolfe died achieving military immortality. But more importantly, he delivered a continent. Number 8 is Edward I of England. Here's the critical distinction. Edward III delegated command. Edward I was the army. From 1277 through the 1282-83 conquest, Edward led the campaigns that brought Wales under English control. He revolutionized medieval warfare by backing conquest with fortresses, Caernarfon, Conwy, Harlech, built as part of a coordinated system of occupation. He developed combined arms tactics, coordinating longbowmen, heavy cavalry, and infantry in ways that influenced European warfare for generations. At Falkirk in 1298, he crushed William Wallace using these innovations. The Welsh conquest alone, complete subjugation of a nation that had resisted for centuries, ranks among medieval Europe's most impressive military achievements. When we talk about English medieval dominance, we're talking about systems Edward I created. At number 7, we have Edmund Allenby. World War I means grinding stalemate, except when it doesn't. In 1917 to 1918, Allenby commanded British forces against the Ottoman Empire. Instead of battering fortified lines, he used deception, mobility, and combined arms to destroy his enemy. At Megiddo, 19 to 25 September 1918, Allenby's offensive shattered Ottoman forces in the Levant. 3 field armies effectively ceased to function. The advance then rolled on. Damascus fell in October, and Aleppo was captured on the 26th of October, 1918. An empire that had endured 6 centuries collapsed. The modern Middle East, its borders, conflicts, power structures, was shaped directly by Allenby's victories. Allenby proved that even in total war, genius still matters. This is why impact, not popularity, matters. Number 6 is Bernard Montgomery. When Montgomery took command in North Africa in 1942, British forces had been pushed to Egypt's gates. Defeat felt inevitable. Montgomery changed everything. He rebuilt morale through personal leadership. He refused to attack until prepared. He trained relentlessly. He studied Rommel and planned countermeasures. At El Alamein in October 1942, he delivered Britain's first clear land victory against the Wehrmacht. Churchill. Before Alamein, we never had a victory. After Alamein, we never had a defeat. Montgomery commanded during D-Day and the liberation of Northwest Europe. His careful approach frustrated more aggressive commanders, but it worked. Why? He commanded Britain's last major field army. One catastrophic defeat could knock Britain out entirely. He couldn't afford brilliance. He needed certainty. And he delivered it. At number 5, we have William Slim, called the finest British general of the 20th century. In 1942, Slim inherited catastrophe. British forces rooted in Burma, starving, disease-ridden, demoralized. He rebuilt them completely. Slim restored morale through honesty and genuine care. He pioneered jungle warfare tactics. He solved impossible logistics through large-scale air supply in the Burma theater. By 1944, his forces stopped the Japanese at Imphal and Kohima, the Stalingrad of the East. Then he went on the offensive. His 1945 recapture of Burma destroyed the Japanese Burma Area Army in one of history's finest campaigns, a masterpiece of maneuver and combined arms. Other generals won with resources. Slim won with leadership. Mountbatten reportedly called Slim the finest general World War II produced. Number 4 is Robert Clive. Clive arrived in India in 1744 as a company writer, a clerk. No training, no connections, nothing. Within 13 years, he helped turn Bengal into company-controlled territory. At Plassey in 1757, Clive's 3,000 men faced 50,000. Through battlefield genius in securing key defections, he won. Plassey made the company the decisive power in Bengal and set Britain on the path to revenue control in Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Tens of millions of people. By 1765, the company ruled about 30 million. Annual revenues. £3 million in 1760s money. Foundation of British India for 200 years. No English general ever controlled more people through military victory. The moral implications are dark. Colonial exploitation, famine, subjugation. But measured purely by impact, Clive reshaped global power like few commanders in history. He turned a trading company into an empire. Was he a hero? No. Was he impactful? Undeniably. History doesn't care about comfort. At number 3, we have Oliver Cromwell. At age 43, Cromwell had never commanded troops in battle. Within 9 years, he would transform British warfare forever. Cromwell rose as a leading cavalry commander and became one of the key figures of the New Model Army, a pioneering professional army, with promotion more merit-based than the old system. He trained relentlessly. He promoted on ability. He instilled discipline and religious fervor. At Marston Moor in 1644, his cavalry was decisive in the victory. His terrain reading, seizing high ground, reminds historians of Wellington at Waterloo. At Worcester in 1651, he orchestrated a strategic masterpiece, maneuvering 35,000 men to trap and destroy King Charles II's forces. Cromwell revolutionized British military culture. Discipline, professional training, merit-based promotion. These became the foundation of British doctrine for centuries. He proved that genius, with revolutionary ideas, could defeat professional armies. Modern British military professionalism begins with Cromwell, and he learned it all as he went. At number 2, we have John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough. Marlborough won the major battles of his command and repeatedly broke France's field armies in set-piece engagements across a decade of warfare against Europe's dominant power. During the War of Spanish Succession, Marlborough commanded massive coalition armies with different objectives, languages, and political agendas. At Blenheim in 1704, Marlborough and Prince Eugene attacked a strong Franco-Bavarian position. Marlborough pinned their flanks while crushing their weak center. The French lost 30,000 men, their first major defeat in 40 years. The Holy Roman Empire was saved. At Ramillies in 1706, his victory opened the Spanish Netherlands. Major cities fell in rapid succession. Marlborough combined diplomacy, logistics, deception, and tactics at a level not seen until Napoleon. Unlike Napoleon, Marlborough avoided catastrophic defeat and kept winning at the highest level. Wellington said he could conceive nothing greater than Marlborough at the head of an English army. For a century after his death, British doctrine was, do what Marlborough would have done. This is why impact, not popularity, matters. And at number 1, Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington. Wellington is often described as never losing a major battle in his career. Not one. He mastered warfare in India, defeating massive armies at Assaye while outnumbered several to one. He spent 6 years in the Peninsular War, the campaign Napoleon called the Spanish Ulcer, grinding down French forces. And then, June 18, 1815, on a Belgian field, Waterloo. One of the most consequential battles in modern European history. Napoleon had returned from exile. Wellington stood between him and total war. For 9 hours, Wellington's forces held against wave after wave of French attacks. Napoleon threw his Imperial Guard, his elite, into a final assault. Wellington's line held. When the Prussians arrived, the French army disintegrated. Napoleon's era ended. The Congress of Vienna settlement held. British global supremacy was established. Wellington didn't just defeat the greatest military mind of his generation. He ended the Napoleonic Wars and reshaped European politics for a century. He understood terrain better than anyone. He mastered logistics, coalition warfare, and pressure. And at the decisive moments, he held. No English general faced a greater opponent. No English general delivered a more decisive result. No English general's victory had greater consequences. Wellington is number 1 because when the stakes were highest, when Britain's survival was at risk, when the enemy was history's greatest conqueror, Wellington won. 10 men, 10 generals who changed the world. Fairfax ended absolute monarchy. Wolfe secured a continent. Edward I conquered nations that stayed conquered. Allenby dismantled empires. Montgomery restored credibility. Slim achieved the impossible. Clive built an empire. Cromwell revolutionized warfare. Marlborough never lost. Wellington defeated Napoleon. These aren't the most popular names. They're not all comfortable stories, but they are the 10 English generals with the greatest historical impact. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Comment below. Who would you rank differently, and why? Argue with facts, not feelings. And we'll see you in the next one.